Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rubina Rumler, and I'm happy to be part of this day today. I did my master degree at the University of Vienna in nutritional sciences, and I further did my dissertation at the Institute of Food Technology at BOKU under the supervision of Regine Schönlechner. And I'm glad that I got this opportunity today to share with you some highlights now. The climate change may devastate up to 60% of the world's wheat fields. Impressive number, right? Even more impressive considering that the average wheat bread consumption in Austria per person is 60 kilograms per year. But not only the quantity of wheat is affected, but also the quality. And if the quality is affected, this will directly affect our dough. One example, shaping a perfect croissant will be challenging due to the changes in the dough elasticity. And how can we tackle those problems? We can incorporate climate-smart grains into our diet. But what is a climate-smart grain? A climate-smart grain, compared to wheat, requires less amount of water to grow and can also resist higher temperatures. And these conditions will become more and more important also for our geographical areas. But those are not the only two advantages. Climate-smart grains can help to support the sustainable goals listed by the United Nations. They can also increase the biodiversity of grains, and they can further increase the product portfolio of bakery products for the industry. And during my dissertation, I mainly focused on sorghum. But why sorghum? Sorghum is the 5th most produced cereal worldwide, and also in Austria it is gaining in interest due to its high yield per hectare. And here in Austria, sorghum is mainly used for animal feed and biofuel production. There are only few areas worldwide that use sorghum in the human nutrition, and this is mainly Africa, Asia, and South America. And if we want to incorporate this crop into our diet, we need to see how we can insert it into our existing processes. And this process is starting from milling. Sorghum is usually milled by hand or by small devices. And in our trial, we were trying to mill sorghum on our existing Austrian wheat mills. And the main challenge was that sorghum is completely different in shape and size compared to wheat. But thanks to our industrial partners, we had the chance to use a roller mill and a stone mill. And after adapting few technical parameters, we were able to obtain a proper sorghum flour. And this let me move on to the next task of my thesis, the incorporation of sorghum in a dough and in bakery products. And for this, I had 8 different sorghum varieties. From all of them, I had 1 whole grain flour and 1 refined flour. I checked all of them for their chemical, physical, and rheological properties. I also had a look on the potential in the baking products. And I further had a look on the sensory characteristics. And although all sorghum varieties were grown in Austria under similar weather conditions, they differed in the nutritional values. They differed in protein, fat, carbohydrate content, but also in the micronutrients. And as expected, this was further then also affecting the dough. And during my stay abroad at the University of Milan, I had the chance to use a device that is measuring the rheological properties. For example, the water absorption. And this is an important parameter which is giving us insights about how we need to adapt a recipe depending on the variety. But also, at our institute, I had the chance to measure, for example, the volume, the texture, but also the porosity. And those are the 3 main parameters to evaluate the quality of a finer bread and also to evaluate the potential for the industrial market. And also, when I had a look at the specific volume and on the crumb firmness, I figured out that it's very important to select the right sorghum varieties depending which should be the finer target product. And of course, I also didn't forget about one very important aspect, and this is, of course, the taste. We had a panel out of untrained people between 18 and 70 years old. And what we saw is that not only the physical parameters changes when the sorghum variety is changing, but also the sensory. And the variety iceberg was the most liked one. But I also gave a chance to other climate-smart grains. That was amaranth, millet, and buckwheat. And I incorporated them up to 40% in a standard wheat bread or into a milk wheat bread. And what I figured out is depending which climate-smart crop is taken, the quality differs. However, the best results were achieved when using sorghum and millet. Slightly worse performed amaranth and buckwheat, but you can also improve them by using some other approaches. And this we applied for sorghum. Although we were already very happy with our results that we achieved with sorghum, we further wanted to improve them by applying an innovative approach called sprouting. During sprouting, some fundamental enzymes are getting activated that can further help to develop the dough. And we were sprouting sorghum up to 96 hours, and we applied them then on the bread. And what I found out is that when sprouting sorghum up to 96 hours, we can improve the bread quality in terms of volume. And what we saw is the best results were achieved when sprouting sorghum at 72 hours. And with this, I would like to conclude my thesis. So the incorporation of climate-smart grains in the Western cereal industry is not a possibility. It is the reality. And we can incorporate those grains by using our existing facilities without compromising in bread quality. But this journey is also not in the end yet. The incorporation of climate-smart grains in the Western cereal industry should be taken as an inspiration for other food sectors to mitigate the climate change in a sustainable way. And with this, I would also like to thank all the people that were involved, especially my supervisor, Regine Schönlechner, all the students that were part of the project, and of course, all the project partners. And with this, I would like to thank you for listening.